Hi everyone, Melissa here with The Creative Season. Well, welcome to another Paint With Me session. We're still painting small on the 4x6-inch pieces of watercolor paper, clean, vibrant colors. I'm still inserting these into some of the snail mail that I'm sending out. We're staying cozy, staying warm, lots of candles going as we continue to push through the storms and dreaming for the new year ahead of us. So would love to know what you're painting, what you're dreaming about this year. Do leave me a comment and let's paint together. Hey everyone, well, we are back here, second week of January 2023, and I am still kind of like easing into the year mode, easing into what are we gonna do. I will be honest, I don't think tons ahead of time as far as creativity, especially for the YouTube videos, and even for this year, I just was easing into things. So we're gonna just do some more small art, and we're gonna do kind of more free-flowing. I am still writing out letters. They're just going kind of long with some Christmas letters that are not Christmas anymore. They're just Happy New Year's, how are you? And then some thank you letters, but I just wanted to include some really fun inserts. I had done more of a free flow here and then surrounded it with a verse. But I thought we could do a couple of these. We're gonna sketch first. I actually re-recording this because when I try to free flow painting on video, it is just kind of a disaster. I don't know what to say. So I thought we're gonna go ahead and just do some sketching. So if you're with me, have your 4x6s. I have them taped and I'm gonna do 2 at a time. And we're just gonna have fun doodling. We're easing into the year. It's cold out, right? It is really cold in some places. And so what I'm doing is I am just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna sketch out some flowers, and we had done those really cute flowers last week, and so on one of these I'm going to sketch out the flowers we did last week, and I think they're some sort of perennial. I do not even know what they are, but I like their petal shape where their petals are almost a flat edge. So what I want to do though with these is I want to have like a center flower where I have one that's in the center, and so this is going to be the center guy right here, and then I'll build the rest of them around them, and I'm going to soften out those petals just a little bit. There's a flat edge, but they're not quite that geometric here. And so I'm going to come over here and maybe I'll do, here's another face here, and we're just moving around here. But the idea is kind of, instead of last week we were creating florals in cups or vases, this week I wanted to create flowers that are not so much, that are more freestyle and almost the idea of exploding across. So I'm going to do another one right over here. We'll have one coming up here, a side view on this guy. That's really cute, right? Do a nice 4 petal on over here. Moving this guy out, and so I am just sketching around, and if you can feel free to, if you wanted to do like sunflowers or something like that, just it's whatever you would like to do. Over down here I'm going to do more almost like of poppies, which we did last year, and poppies are really fun, but again I wanted them to feel a bit more, just a bit more freestyle, where we're not trying to create really formal flowers. So moving around here, creating those really loose, and over here I will go ahead and create stems like this, leaving ample room up here for where I'll do some more drawing. I'll kind of have one coming out over here, I think, another big one. I think I said drawing, I meant painting, or the writing of the, when I write out the words or a little note or whatnot. So just again, creating something really light, really, really easy. Making a nice big petal here, and then bringing it here. I'm going to go like this on this guy. I am intentionally making this a little bit messy. That's part of the goal too, is I almost this really fun sense of joyfulness, of exuberance for a new year and what might happen on this new year. So we're just going to do some nice leaves like here. We'll do a little offshoot on this guy and bring this in a little bit closer so you can see this. And so you can see, super fun, super light, super easy. We're just going to use a couple of colors. That guy's a little bit messy, but that's okay. That is okay. We'll do one more right over here. And again, I'm going to go ahead with this kind of poppy-esque flower, one petal here, the petal here, and then you can see that third one kind of coming through. And then up here, I'm gonna just come back up and do a few more. I think with this one, I'm gonna add in some leaves on this guy. Add in some leaves here, and then a long stem with some leaves coming off down here as well. Over here, a nice leaf coming off of this guy, and maybe even a second leaf right over here. That looks really, really pretty. Okay, and then we can start picking up our paint. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and maybe I'll do, I feel like I need another one, maybe right coming off right over here. Maybe this guy will be hiding right over here. So you can kind of see I'm working out from the center. I'm not always really great at keeping everything centered, and that's okay. So don't worry about that if you aren't either. Okay, we've got our flowers. This is really pretty. We'll do another petal here, and then I'm probably gonna have another petal just coming out over here. I'm sorry, the stems with some really pretty leaves. That's gonna let me draw down there. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our paint. I am gonna do more, not completely monochromatic, but I am going to do it where it is pretty simple colors. Just like last week, we really want to go for bright colors, clean, clear. I'm going to pick up some magenta, and I am just going to start dropping that magenta. Magenta is a gorgeous color, and the seasonal archetypes, it definitely falls under more of the fall because it's muted. It is heavier. It's that, but it's a gorgeous, I always call it my romantic purple. There's just something really, really beautiful about it. So I am going, again, just working around. Think of this maybe too as maybe just like, almost like coloring, doodling a little bit, right? And I'm gonna come up here. I'm just gonna make all of these pretty much the same color. We'll drop a little bit of purple in them, in the centers, just like we did on that first one. And then on the ones below, I may make those orange, but I also might make them blue because I'm really loving the clean blue colors right now. And I've got something making noise. Sorry about that. It's clinking as I'm moving on the studio table. So next week, I'm excited. We're going to do something a little bit different next week. We're going to do a floral collage. And just looking at the year ahead. And if you're like me, again, maybe you're feeling cold or even a little bit sluggish, there's so much that goes on the end of the year holidays. I just find creatively, mentally, I'm just not moving as quickly as I would. Even the ideas are a little bit slower as I'm kind of easing into the year. And so I am like to do some collaging just to kind of help warm things up, keep me re-energized a bit. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead. That looks really fun. I am going to go ahead, grab my green, and we're going to start moving down here. And just moving into some of these areas where I have those stems. Notice too, I'm not coloring in everything in. I think this will be fun as I'm writing a few more letters and sending a few more things out to just send these little pieces of art and write a little message, or again, write a verse or a poem, something encouraging, inspiring for the year. I had a couple people over in the last few weeks, so just to write them little follow-up notes. I did have some just lovely conversations, which is always good. I love having those deep, meaningful conversations that like just kind of linger with you for a little while. Okay, I'm going to come over here now. Again, making sure don't set your hand right in the middle because that is such a pain. And ruin, I did that the other night. I just set my hand right where I was painting and just smashed and smushed everything. And it was one of those paintings that I'll end up cutting it up. So the whole thing won't be a loss, but I was bummed. I was disappointed. Okay, so this is fun. We have like these guys going this way, which I love. I probably need one, so maybe even over here, I'm gonna go ahead and just move this guy around here because we just, for the sake of equality, right? Having some leaves coming out, and maybe we're even gonna do some freestyle leaves over there. And that's pretty fun. We can even do another leaf down here if we wanted to. Okay, you'll notice the purple's moving and the magenta's moving in a little bit. That's totally fine. Totally fine. Those will blend beautifully. Okay, and let me back up a little bit so you can see that just a hair better. All right, now that we're gonna move to the one below, and I think I will, you know what, we're gonna go ahead, do I want to, you know, we're gonna go ahead and use blue. We're just gonna make some blue flowers down here. I'm kind of in a blue and magenta mode today. So once again, going in nice and light. And if you feel like that color's too dark, grab a little bit of water and just add in some water there. It'll lighten it up. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just moving this guy around. I'm gonna actually take the blue and go down the stems with it. So just down here, I'm gonna pull that blue down, and then we'll go over it with some green. Moving lightly. I haven't looked at how long it's been that we've been painting, but we're moving through this pretty quickly. If you want to have different colors, if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I want to add a little bit of variety, you can certainly do the flowers in different colors, so have a variety. Or if you wanted to just add it a little bit, just with like a hint, you can come grab, like for example, grab that magenta. I'll pick up a little bit of that magenta, and you can just dab that magenta in, and that'll really definitely add a different color and flavor to some of these. I'm gonna move right up here with this guy, and I had right over here, I had some little buds coming out, and then I'm gonna go back, grab some blue, and just drop that blue on top. That looks really pretty. Come over here with this guy. He was a little bit more of a messier blossom, and that's okay. We love those guys too. So now I'm going to take that, I'm going to take a brush that just has a bit more of a stronger tip, a round, just a nice pointy tip, and I'm going to go ahead and with that tip, trying not to touch the petals, I'm going to start just moving that in there and moving this guy around and making those really lovely, just pick up some more green, gorgeous long stalks. And I love the way that this really causes the eye to go upward, right? Everything's looking up in this one. And then we'll put our words up here. If you'd like to do word of the year, this might be a fun project to add in your word of the year at the top, and then tuck it aside in a book, in your journal, to keep in mind throughout the year. And if I want to add more, I usually like to add more stalks. Go right ahead, add in some more. You might even want to add another flower or two. And if you want some more depth in some of these leaves, for example, I can go ahead and grab that blue again. Let me make sure I'm going to go ahead up here, just adding in some more green, which I love. I can pick up just a little bit of blue. I can even pull that down in some of these leaves. And it's not real obvious, but what I love is that it creates a consistency, just a really consistent look. The whole painting sings because we're using those same colors. And then I just drop some more green in. Using that tip to go down, that looks really, really pretty. Now if you wanted to do some splatters, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. You can do some beautiful blue splatters up here, or even down below, just taking a couple right down there. And that just adds a little bit, right? I'm going to try not to get into the other painting. And that'll be really fun to go ahead and paint on. Okay, now what I'm going to do too is I'm going to take some purple. I said paint on, I meant write on, so when you write your verse out. I'm going to just take that purple, and I'm almost just going to dab it like this. And that way it's not totally colored in. We have some white popping out, and it looks like everything is kind of popping out, making sure we get all of our cute little faces. Just that little bit of color contrast helps to differentiate everything, right? And if you want to pick up some more magenta and add it in different places, even around that flower petal, that looks really nice. Deepen up some of those colors there, and that looks lovely. That looks really, really nice. I'm just going to add in a little bit over here. And this is sweet. They're just simple watercolor sketches, really fun to do. Doesn't take up a lot of time. And I really, really like these. Okay, I'm gonna come over here. Move it around, just a little bit more detail. And we're gonna call that a day. And there we go. We have created some really lovely paintings. Small, you can use it for yourself, use it for projects, use it, put in some snail mail, but I hope you enjoy these, and I will see you next week. We're going to be doing our collage. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have a wonderfully creative week.